Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for day of 764 for the 28th of March. We're going to start off with one interesting story that came out over the past 24 hours. There is a fake French website. I don't know how to pronounce this. Sengaga Ukraine .fr. The website is currently, suspended. It's already, taken down. So it's apparently a website that claims to be recruiting for the so basically it's like it pretends to be a French military website and trying to recruit 200,000 French people to fight in Ukraine. And the OSIN underscore tactical basically make a breakdown of this situation. They claim that this is a fake website, and it claims that immigrants will be given priority. So the aim is seemingly to to spread disinformation and everything, to collect some intelligence. And a further breakdown of this website is that the website was purchased on the 15th of March, and then after 24 hours of Macron's speech, it was put up. And then there was a certain certain metadata. I don't think it's very important. And interestingly, that the domain is actually bought in Germany. So by this company called One API, German's version of private limited. And then there's some phone numbers. And but this probably a separate company, probably not the original owner. They probably bought through this company. And then they hosted the website in America's Hostwin LLC, and then it was a Seattle-based web hosting company. Basically, Seattle this web hosting basically took down the website, I think. Then another thing interesting is that this is taken down after a possible French complaint possibility. So, and then furthermore, information was that there is certain information claiming that it's always in the afternoon. The website was updated, and then there was a Google Analytics that's actually involved in the WordPress and using a WP Monster Insight. Basically, these are all analytics tools to try to track the traffic. And it's interestingly that despite this a French website, and everything was translated, certain images is still written in English, like smaller avatar.jpg, or so some of these terminology, the norms, the words, like they did try to change everything into French wordings in terms of the file names, but sometimes some of them actually end up still written in English. Very interesting. So this is they claim that the salary is 9,000 euros. 1 million euros is given to the family in the case of death. So all these are the fake information. Very interesting stuff. And some other additional information. Not sure what is this. And yeah, so there is no emails and legal stuff, and everything is just copied. And then there's 2 forms. Probably will be allowed people to sign up, and then they will collect all this intel. They also have some the first time this is posted was on a French account on X, and then yeah, by this Germain France. So some random account. And then these are some of the other channels that actually mentioned about this. A lot of them are Russian. But the lower ones seems to be just propagation, because like they first caught this information and they spread it. Like for example, Jeroman, Slavengrad. These are all because they caught the information, they spread, because it's of course breaking news, because this is also interesting to me, which I then search on X to try to find out more, and then OSIN tactical or tactical OSIN thankfully written a piece on this. So something very interesting. So if you came upon this, this is actually a fake website. So just something to update regarding this issue, because this relates to the Ukraine war. And the Frontline changes report The first thing first is over at Novomykhailivka. There's some major changes over in this area here. Russian forces have been geolocated in the northern part of Novomykhailivka, as well as further up north. And Ukrainian mapping also do updated further in the south. So if I zoom in a bit, because of this geolocation, we can confirm that the Russian forces have attacked in the north and taken most of this northern part of Novomykhailivka. Of course, claims of Russian forces have taken the center is still there, but we have not committed to it. And in the south, there is I think this is a Russian capture reported by Deep State UA. Their mapping shows that the Russians have closed up almost all around this industrial or farming buildings in the south. So the Russian forces are now making very serious push over in the area of Novomykhailivka, and Ukrainian forces getting hit by a TOS-1A further in the rear position. So it looks like this attack is really serious from the Russian side. So the next frontline change is over at Rozdolivka, over in the Siversk Front. This is just a geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit by FPV drone, and this attack over here actually help us to confirm that the Ukrainian forces at least have this area here. So we will actually correct the front line as per this update. And the last frontline change is over at Klishchiivka. According to military summary, geolocation, an infantry fighting vehicle of the Ukrainian side getting hit by the FPV drone at this position. So as a result, we can confirm that the Ukrainian forces have taken part of this area back, because previously we have videos showing that the Russians attacked and taken most of these tree lines. It looks like the Ukrainian forces have now counterattacked, and the contact line is more or less the same. It's basically more or less the same. So I don't think is much. Don't have to worry too much. It's just a very tiny change. So that's all for the frontline changes report. Over at the strategic and tactical reporting, over in the Kherson Front, there is still fighting along the Dnipro River on the southern bank. We're not sure exactly where. I still map it as Krinky as per usual. Mykolaiv, Russian Defense Ministry reported that they have attacked Mykolaiv, probably some shelling and hitting Ukrainian forces over there. And that's it, I believe, for the Kherson Front. Over at the Zaporizhzhia Front, reinforcement has been reported in the Kharkiv region, according to Ryba, the pro-Russian source reporting this, and claiming that the Ukrainian forces is now saturating the area with FPV drones. So the drone warfare is getting more and more of a norm, tentatively. And over in the salient itself, the bulge itself, Russian forces continue their attack in the region of Robotine and in the northwest of Verbove. Information coming from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, they reported this, and there is a geolocation of a Ukrainian infantry fighting vehicle getting hit by FPV drone, confirming Ukrainian presence in the northern part of Robotine. So we will continue to monitor, because at Robotine itself, the settlement in this area here in the northern part may be considered gray zone. There may possibly be no Ukrainian forces entrenching themselves within here, because it's too close to the Russians. But we shall see how this progress. And that's all from the Zaporizhzhia Front. Over in the Velika-Novosilka sector of the Donetsk Front, Russian forces are attacking in the northern part of Prione, Staromayoske and Uruzhaine. This is currently happening with a geolocation of artillery hitting a alleged FPV drone base over in the eastern part of Novomykhailivka. So that's all from the Velika-Novosilka sector. We move on over at the Voleda sector. There's nothing. Over at the Marinka sector, over at Novomykhailivka itself of the Donetsk Front, as I mentioned, the Russian forces are now pushing in the northern part, and they have shown absolute presence around this heavy entrenchment, which confirms the Russians' capture of this area here, increasing the Russian control, and they are continuing to push in the northern part. And while they are also attacking in the south, so in the southern area here. So the main push through the center is probably still ongoing, but the Ukrainian forces are actually pushing them back. They are holding the defense in the center of Novomykhailivka, but geolocation also show that the Russian forces are bombarding them with heavy artillery and thermobaric rockets. So which means that anyone standing in those blast radius is going to be dead instantly. So there is no staying alive with coming to thermobaric missiles. So anyway, we shall continue to monitor this situation over at Novomykhailivka. Further up north, there is still reports of fighting over at Avdiivka as well as Krasnohorivka, but that's about it. We do not have details about the fighting around this area here. And information is coming from the Russian Defense Ministry and the Ukrainians talking about the Avdiivka. Over at the Avdiivka Front, the Ukrainian forces are on the counter-offensive, with fighting reported in the in Pervomaiske, Tonenke, and Badaichi. Russian forces are focusing their attention at Semenivka. In fact, this arrow is wrong. It's actually coming from Olivka. So this is the situation over in the Avdiivka Front, particularly over in the Semenivka region. Russian forces have captured Olivka, and but there's a water body around here. So there's a water body here. So this is not that crossable with a dirt path or small little causeway. It's not really possible to cross through the center. So despite Russians have control around here, the attack is coming from the south. Along the main road, they are hitting northward from Olivka. So this is how the attack comes from. And geolocation of Russian artillery hitting Ukrainian forces in the northern part shows that the Ukrainians have the strong positions in the northern half or northern 2/3 of the Semenivka region, and probably also around here. The Russian forces are not reported to be attacking in Badaichi. The Ukrainians are on the counter-offensive in that area here. So we will continue to monitor and see how this progress, whether the Ukrainians can continue to hold Semenivka. And that's all for the Avdiivka Front. And there's nothing over at the Niu-York Front. The fighting reported at Shumi and Pivdeni was not repeated. Over at the southern half of the Bakhmut Front, Russian forces attacked Klishchiivka and Avdiivka. This is the usual. Geolocation of TOS-1A, the thermobaric rockets are hitting Klishchiivka again. And then Ukrainian forces are geolocated, showing that the Ukrainians are trying to push in the north to at least hold back the Russian offensive. So that's all for the Bakhmut Front. And over at the northern half of the Bakhmut Front, sorry, so it's not the end of the Bakhmut Front, it's the end of the southern half. So in the northern half, Russian forces continue to attack in Bodanivka as well as along the road towards Nove. The interesting thing is that the Ukrainian Defense Ministry now acknowledged fighting at Nove. Nove is actually Novoye or Kanal micro district, which is actually this area here. So the Ukrainian Defense Ministry actually acknowledged that the Russian forces have arrived or is nearby to this district of Nove or Novi. So very interesting. But at the same time, in the same report, they also mentioned Chasivia. So, but Chasivia is actually in the is behind of Novoye, so it's a bit unusual. We will continue to monitor and see what exactly this is about. So that's all for the Bakhmut Front. We move into the Siversk Front. At the Siversk Front, we have multiple geolocations showing Ukrainian forces getting hit by FPV drone, with one actually resulted in some frontline change, very minor one. The fighting in the northern part of Vasile is no longer reported. This is not reported. And now the fighting is actually over at Belgorod-Kharkiv in the Luhansk region, as well as at Sperne. Information coming from the Russian Defense Ministry. And that's it for the Siversk Front. Over at the Kreminna Front, the fighting is only reported at Terny. This is by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So that's all for Kreminna. And there's nothing at the SITREP front. Over at the Kupyansk Front, fighting is only being reported at Sinkivka, with the Russian forces are the one making the attack. And that's all from the Kupyansk. And over at the Kharkiv Belgorod Front region, there's an interesting report. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that they have attacked Ukrainian forces at Stroyevka or Stroyivka. Stroyivka is actually this this small little village in the border region just next to Klishchiivka, and this is part of the Kharkiv region. So the Russian forces kind of made an attack in this area here. This might just be fire attack. Maybe it's just some artillery attack, tank fire or something, mortar attack. We're not sure yet. If this becomes an incursion, and this is going to stretch the Ukrainian forces further and create a totally new front, and then it will be the return of the Kharkiv Front. But tentatively, this is not the case. We do not know what is this about. It could be just an attempt to distract the Ukrainian forces. As you can see, Zaporizhzhia group of forces inflicted losses on the territorial defense and the 32nd Mechanized Brigade at Rozdolivka. So we shall wait and see if this is going to become something interesting. And so that's all for the border region in that area. In the other area at Velika Pesarivka, there is an airstrike hitting the center of Velika Pesarivka. So this is a continuation of the failed Belgorod offensive, which the Russian forces continue to hammer Ukrainian forces that are still gathering in that area. So that's about it. This is the summary. Oh, there's one more thing I missed. I just saw this icon in the south. So over at Sevastopol, there is a Russian Sukhoi 27 that was shot down. This is likely to be shot down by friendly fire because Ukrainian aircraft can't really fly this far, and they don't have the air defense or air-to-air capability to shoot at an aircraft this far away. So this is likely a friendly fire. So yeah, according to the local authorities report by according to Ryba, they said that the pilot is rescued and the life is not in danger. So but the video footage of the plane falling in fire and drop into the sea in the big explosion is captured by civilians at Sevastopol. So yeah, so that's another loss. Friendly fire in wars is very, very common actually. So anyway, thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next update.